We begin with breaking news in the case against former FBI Director James Comey.
In court today, DOJ attorneys admitted the entire grand jury never saw the full indictment that was handed up. Comey was charged with making a false statement to Congress and obstructing a congressional proceeding connected to testimony he gave before the Senate back in 2020.
Comey's lawyers are asking the judge to dismiss the case, saying the prosecution is, quote, vindictive and selective.
NBC News senior justice reporter Ryan Reilly joins us now. So, Ryan, explain the situation with the grand jury indictment, what they saw, what they didn't see, and what kinds of implications could this now have?
Yeah, this was quite a bombshell because DOJ admitted that the full grand jury did not see the actual indictment that was handed up. All this arises from the fact that Lindsay Howley, the purported U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Columbia, has zero prosecutorial experience. She was this Trump aide who was working on some Smithsonian issues and had been a personal attorney and had dealt with some insurance issues before, but she'd never been a prosecutor before, and she was put into this position just days before the statute of limitations would have expired for this indictment that was returned against James Comey. So given that inexperience, there were some mistakes made along the way, apparently, and one of them was not actually showing this indictment to the full grand jury. You know, legal experts have raised a host of questions about this indictment, and at this point, it's a question of whether or not it even ever gets to trial, because there are so many ways for this to fail before it even would get to that stage, let alone the fact that the grand jury actually rejected the top charge against him. And there's also additional questions about whether the grand jurors were properly instructed about the law at hand here by this person who was leading a grand jury for the very first time in her life as a prosecutor.
So then, Ryan, what could happen next? I mean, could this case be dismissed?
It could be. I think we're waiting for the judge. He don't want to rule from the bench there, but based on the questions that were being asked, this is pretty problematic. In addition to all those additional hurdles that they're going to have to cross here, just because the highly unusual nature of it, the fact that Donald Trump was openly calling for this prosecution, it just looks on its face like any sort of amateur could see from the outside that this has been a sort of a political push for this, and the fact that Donald Trump posted publicly that he wanted the Attorney General to go after one of his political enemies is certainly not going to help there. So I think this case faces numerous hurdles long before it would get to a jury. And remember, you're only supposed to bring cases that you think can succeed before a jury. And I think especially with all of the questions that have been raised along the lines here, it really seems like a stretch to say that, down the line that James Comey is ever going to be convicted of anything, given how many questions there are just in this initial process to begin with.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.